Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everybody's enjoying their evening. Tonight, I want to go over Black inventions and the Black inventors and their patents, some of the essentials and necessities that we use on a daily basis. The patents were stolen from the brothers and sisters who invented them. I want to go over some of these patents and inventions that were stolen from the brother or the sister. Just like the land, just like our birthrights and our likeness were stolen from us. Things that we invented to make our very lives better today. Necessities, essentials. A lot of those ideas came from our people. You take a man like Ron DeSantis, he don't want our children to be taught this. He don't want our children to be exposed to the theft of land, the theft of our inventions, birthrights. He wanted the narrative to be that we just appeared here. We're some species that just appeared here. We don't have no history. And if we do have a history, it started with not our greatness, not our brilliant minds, but our, turmoil and our misfortunate events. Yet, I'm going to play some videos and give my narrative about these inventions and these inventors. Everyone is going to recognize these inventions because we use them every day on a daily basis. Some are essential. Some are for entertainment. And some, just used to have fun. But most of the inventions are essential and necessity.
And it got me thinking just how different life might be if it weren't for Black ingenuity. And though this video could literally be hours long, I narrowed it down to some of my favorites. The automatic gear shift, Richard Spikes. For those of us who hate driving clutch, we have this guy to thank. Though he spent most of his time as a barber, Richard went on to patent a whole bunch of other stuff that we use in modern automobiles. America's first clock, Benjamin Banneker. Rumor has it that Ben built his clock after studying a friend's pocket watch. His family even reported that it ticked until the day he died. Ooh. Automatic elevator doors, Alexander Miles. Without this, we'd have a lot more awkward encounters at work. You know what I'm talking about. The carbon filament and the electric lamp, Lewis Lavender. Do you know how many times I heard about Edison as a kid? Without our boy Lewis here, that idea-stealing hack would have no light bulb. Folding chair, John Purdy.
Now, they will have us to believe that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb and responsible for us having light. Who gives more light than our people? Whether it's bright skin, meaning flawless, not meaning light, bright, meaning flawless, or shining light by telling the truth. Who does that more than our people? So I can understand if they said Thomas Edison is responsible for darkness, but light, I knew that was a farce.
Without this, professional wrestling would be an entirely different sport. Give him the chair, John! The ice cream scooper, Alfred L. Crowell. Need I say more? The modern lock, Washington Martin. Locks, dude. For 4,000 years, locks hadn't changed. This dude rolls along, makes some changes, then we're locking everything up. The refrigerator, Thomas Elkins. Who else had leftovers for dinner last night? Well, don't forget to thank your boy Thomas, because without his improvement to the refrigerator, that meal wouldn't have been possible. The modern toilet, also Thomas Elkins. Ooh, baby, a double. My man Tommy making home and work more comfy, one amenity at a time. The mop, Thomas W. Stewart. What? Were you going to keep using your good towels to clean up spills? Portable pencil sharpener, John Lee Love. Never a dull moment with this guy. I hate me too. Potato chips, George Crumb. My favorite carb delivery system. Though, all jokes aside, it's kind of destiny his name's Crumb, right? Thermostat and temperature control, Frederick Jones. Freddie, my guy, my dude, Arizona salutes you. Modern traffic light, Garrett Morgan. Thanks to Garrett, we don't have to play a game of Frogger every time we want to cross the street. Touchtone telephone, portable fax, caller ID, fiber optic cables, etc. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson.
Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, responsible for our very existence on social media because of her inventions.
Dr. Jackson deserves her own video. You're looking at the mother of modern...
Big fact, she deserves her own video with all the essential inventions that she brought to us.
telecommunications right here. Put some respect on her name. Like I said before, this is all just the tip of the iceberg. And though it's always good to stop and acknowledge those who came before us, Black history could never be condensed into a single month. Though, thanks for trying, white people. Seriously, people of color have been making waves since the dawn of time, and we're not stopping anytime soon. So raise a fist, take a knee, and thank a Black person. Because without us, your world might look a whole lot different.
Go to the next video. It's a lot of inventions that our people invented. Caucasian people are known for stealing patents. The same way they take and they steal people, their intellectual properties, their music, their catalogs. They stole inventions and patents also. It didn't start with our music and our intellectual property. They were taking our patents and our inventions way before then. Before the automatic gear shift was invented, there was a standard, the with the clutch, which was too time consuming, but it took one of us to invent the automatic gear shift. I wonder what this frame looked like before the modern bicycle frame was invented. Yes, had to invent the corn planter to make it easier for us to plant corn instead of being out in them damn fields. Peace. Black Wild. Yes, we invented the circuit breaker. Instead of stuff catching on fire when it heats up or if too much voltage going through stuff, it's just shut down and we just restarted. Yes, one of us invented the electric cutoff system, which is called the circuit. We invented the entire electric railway system, not just the train, not just the McCoy that called that funneled the the oil throughout the train so that it would run, which was the origin of the term the real McCoy, because when the McCoys invented that device for the trains, people plagiarized it and made their own version of it. And when people were ordering this device for their train, they would ask them, is this the real McCoy? So that's what that term came from. Now, this is a very essential, needed mechanism. The fire escape, very important. And the inventor of the fire escape probably invented it because our houses were being set afire by racist ass white folks. And we had to escape the fire. So thus the fire escape was invented. The smallest things, some of them were very essential. The furniture caster for our office chairs and tables. We didn't want them to be stationary, we want them to move. So, you know, our people, always innovative, inventing something that make our lives easier. Just imagine, before Tiger Woods, we didn't see many brothers playing sports, well, golf anyway, professionally. And just imagine, one of us invented the golf tee, probably invented the game too. Yes, we invented the car and the helicopter, the ghetto bird that flies over us. Some of them that victimize our people. You know, they put guns on the side of them now, the helicopter gunship, and they shoot people now. But the essential helicopter to get us to one place, from one place to another, without having to be in the traffic, yes, that too was invented by one of us. Of course, we would invent a home security system. People were coming into our homes uninvited, sneaking into our homes. So we had to invent something to alarm us that someone was coming into our home, just like the sister who invented the camera surveillance system. Another essential invention and necessity invented by one of us. We all know how our people love business. The kitchen table invented by us. The lantern invented by us. The launch, the litter box, and the mop, all invented by us. The motor, for the record player. My refrigerator, mine's chrome. Just imagine. I remember when I was growing up, before a brother or sister invented this device, the remote controls. Your parent, in particular, my father, and he worked all day, so he deserved it. You're outside playing, he'll call you in the house, he'll yell your name, and ask you to turn the TV. He worked all day, so he deserved for one of us to turn that television for him. But this device made it easier for him to watch whatever he wanted without moving from the comfort of the bed or his recliner, the remote controllers. Yes, one of us invented the roller coaster also. We've been on so many roller coasters through life. We decided to invent the roller coaster for entertainment and fun. Small things Deer climbing wheelchair. Super soaker. Telephone transmitter, invented by one of us. Thermal hair curlers. And yes, the throne, invented by one of us. Don't want to get up on your enemy. Shoot them with their torpedo, shooter. Your analysis machine. These are some of the things that were invented by our people. Go to the next video. There's a lot of essentials that our people invented that some of us probably don't know.
Welcome to the part 1 of our series on the 100 black inventions that changed the
that we invented. It's a lot of inventions that we use on a daily basis that our brothers and sisters have invented, but the patents and the inventions were stolen from them and white people put their names on them. And some of our people didn't know the value of that invention, and it was sold to these white patent owners, or the patent was sold itself for very little.
The world. For too long, the media has ignored the achievements of black inventors, making it seem like they weren't as smart or talented. In school, we learn about things like the light bulb, electricity, and other important discoveries from inventors like Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and Benjamin Franklin. But we don't hear about the incredible inventions made by black inventors. It's time to change that. Today, we embark on a journey to unearth a legacy that has long been ignored, a series that unveils the untold stories of 100 black inventions that changed the world. These black inventors, whose names have been shrouded in darkness, refuse to let their history hold them back. Their intelligence and resilience propelled them forward, defying the barriers of slavery, discrimination, and racism. In this episode, we're going to share their stories and tell you about the amazing things they invented that changed our lives. Before we get right into the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can catch all the parts in this series and keep informed of our eye-opening black narrative. Number 100, 3-light traffic light. The 3-light traffic signal we see today has greatly improved our safety on the roads, but very few people know that the traffic signal was inspired by the invention of a black person. The person behind this brilliant invention was Garrett Morgan, an African-American businessman and inventor. He lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and was the first black person in the city to own a car. In 1922, he witnessed an accident between a horse-drawn carriage and a car, which inspired him to find a way to prevent such accidents in the future. At that time, police officers were responsible for directing traffic, but it was difficult for drivers to see them, and their signals were limited to just stop and go. This made it hard for drivers to navigate through traffic. So Morgan came up with a new idea. He invented a traffic signal that had folding arms with signs that said stop and go. The signal would be placed on a post above the road, making it easier for drivers to see. He also added a third position where the signal could be raised halfway, indicating caution. This was like the modern yellow signal that we see today. To operate the signal, a traffic attendant would turn a crank, raising the post and showing the appropriate sign. If necessary, the attendant could stop all lanes by showing the stop sign. Morgan's invention was patented in 1923, and he sold the rights to General Electric for $40,000. Number 99, home security system. The 1960s were one of the most dangerous times in American history, and for a black woman whose husband was always working at odd hours, staying alone in her home at night left Marie Van Britten Brown feeling pretty vulnerable. Unfortunately, their neighborhood had a high crime rate, and Marie was concerned.
This is a very essential invention. I install these inventions The surveillance camera is very important and very essential for homes and businesses. If you're a smart person and you want to know who's around your house or who's at your door without having to go to your door, we can thank this system for this invention.
Concerned about the slow response time of the police. In response to this, Marie came up with the first home security system when she was 40 years old. Initially, their invention consisted of 4 small windows, a movable camera, TV screens, and microphones. The cameras could move from one window to another. These cameras were connected to TV screens inside Marie's home. By using the TV screens, Marie could see who was at her door without actually having to be there physically or open the door. The microphones were also important as they allowed Marie to communicate with the person outside without having to face them directly or open the door. Marie Van Britten Brown's invention of the home security system has had a significant impact on the security systems we have today. Her innovative idea paved the way for further developments and improvements in security systems that are still used today. Number 98, folding bed. In 1885, African-American inventor Sarah Good would create one of the most famous inventions designed for maximum comfort. Her patented folding bed would inspire the modern-day Murphy bed. Being a furniture store owner, she saw a business opportunity and made an audacious move. When Sarah Good heard about the problem of limited space in Chicago apartments, she wanted to help. She invented a bed that could fold up and be hidden, similar to the Murphy bed we know today. It was like a cabinet that could turn into a desk, with spaces for writing supplies. Sarah's goal was to make the bed easy to lift and keep in place when folded, and to provide extra support in the middle when unfolded. In 1885, Sarah Good became one of the first African-American women to get a patent for her invention of the folding bed. Number 97, protective mailbox. In October 27, 1891, Philip B. Downing was granted a patent that changed the mail system forever. That patent was for a street letterbox, essentially the mailbox we see all around the country, where you can post a letter any time of day. In the early 1800s, U.S. citizens posted and received their mail via a post office. People would need to travel far distances to visit their local post office for their mailing needs, so there was a need for a better, more convenient solution. Downing designed the mailbox that we all recognize today, a metal box with 4 legs. This invention changed the need to go to the post office in order to mail a letter. It included a hinged door that kept bad weather such as rain and snow from damaging the mail, and also a safety feature making the mail secure until it is picked up by postal employees. The Downing letterbox patent became the basis of the letterbox we have today. Number 96, blood banks. It's impossible to determine how many hundreds of thousands of people would have lost their lives without the contributions of African-American inventor Dr. Charles Drew. This physician, researcher, and surgeon revolutionized the understanding of blood plasma, leading to the invention of blood banks. During World War II, there was a great need for blood transfusions due to the large number of casualties, but there were challenges in transporting and preserving blood for long periods. Recognizing this problem, Drew focused his research on finding a solution. He developed a method to store and preserve plasma, which is a vital component of blood, separately from whole blood. This allowed plasma to be stored for longer periods without losing its life-saving properties. He also came up with the idea of blood banking, which involves collecting, testing, and storing blood so it can be used for transfusions when needed. Drew's work was a game changer. It not only helped save many lives during the war, but also paved the way for advancements in blood transfusion techniques. His ideas and innovations laid the foundation for the modern blood banking system that we rely on today. Number 95, refrigerated trucks. In the world of modern transportation and logistics, refrigerated trucks play a vital role in ensuring the safe and efficient delivery of perishable goods. Behind this groundbreaking invention stands an extraordinary mind, that of Frederick McKinley Jones, an African-American inventor whose innovative spirit transformed the way we transport and preserve temperature-sensitive items. In the late 1930s, Jones was approached by Joseph A. Numero, an entrepreneur in the cinema industry. Numero needed a way to transport perishable items like food and medicine without them spoiling during long trips. Recognizing Jones's skills, Numero asked for his help. Jones took on the challenge and came up with an ingenious solution: a portable cooling system that could be added to existing trucks. This transformed ordinary trucks into refrigerated vehicles, allowing perishable goods to be transported over long distances while keeping them fresh. Jones's invention had a significant impact on various industries, including food, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. It made global trade easier by enabling the transportation of perishable goods to faraway markets. Number 94, automatic elevator doors. On the 11th of October, 1887, a highly skilled barber, inventor, and businessman named Alexander Miles received a patent for a technology that would revolutionize the way we use high-rise buildings forever. His invention? Automatic elevator doors. Though a seemingly small milestone in the history of technology, his innovative design made the use of elevators infinitely easier and safer, earning him a spot in the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Whatever the reason, Alexander had identified just how dangerous the elevators of the 19th century were. As they had to be opened manually, either by an operator or the passengers themselves, people were often at risk of plummeting down the shaft with horrific injury. Miles's design included a flexible belt attached to the elevator cage, with drums positioned on it to indicate if the elevator had reached a floor. When this occurred, the doors would automatically open and close by means of levers and rollers. The influence of his elevator patent is still seen in modern designs, and the automatic opening and closing of elevator and elevator shaft doors have become a standard feature. Number 93, Super Soaker Summer just wouldn't be the same without Lonnie Johnson's invention. Johnson was an aerospace engineer for NASA who happened to invent the popular children's toy. In 1982, Air Force and NASA engineer Lonnie Johnson conceived of the idea of a pressurized water gun after shooting a powerful stream of water in his bathroom while performing experiments for a new type of refrigeration system. This experimentation, which resulted in Johnson shooting a stream of water across his bathroom into the tub, led directly to the development of the power drencher, the precursor to the Super Soaker. Number 92, tissue holder. Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner, along with her sister, was a wizard of making your trip to the bathroom as pleasant as possible. They both invented a toilet tissue holder in the 1970s, which they share a patent on. This invention was created with the purpose of eliminating the problem of grasping the free end of a toilet paper roll, which happens when the free end of the paper is positioned tightly against the remainder of the roll. This invention helps by always keeping the toilet paper in an accessible position, making it more convenient to get a roll of paper right when you need it. Number 91, peanut butter. Generally, when people think of famous African-American inventors, one of the first names that springs to mind is George Washington Carver. Perhaps most famously, Carver's inventions included the discovery of over 300 different uses for peanuts.
So Jif, Skippy, and Smuckers, they got their peanut butter and jelly and all the other stuff. They got it from George Washington Carver. He invented peanut butter and cooking oil. It was George Washington Carver.
Such as making cooking oil, axle grease, and printer's ink. Carver was the first African-American student except...
Exactly. Even the printer's ink, George Washington Carver invented. But they plagiarized it and put their name on it, like always.
To Iowa State and quickly became a campus leader and excelling in botany and horticulture. After finishing his education, George Washington Carver was convinced by Booker T. Washington to serve as the director of agriculture at the upstart Tuskegee Institute. Though the job offered very little in terms of pay, Carver took the position and ran with it. It was there he...
Peace. Salute to my brother, JJ, the Enlightened One. Thanks for coming through, good brother.
Devised his method of crop rotation. Through the system, crops flourished, but a large surplus of peanuts also developed. This led George Washington Carver to develop alternate uses for the peanut. Today, everyone and their dog can thank George Washington Carver for the invention of peanut butter. Number 90, laser phaco. Imagine living in a world ranging from hazy, clouded vision to that of total darkness for 30 years. Before 1985, that was the plight of those with cataracts who did not want to risk surgery with a mechanical grinder. As a noted ophthalmologist and famous black inventor, Dr. Patricia Bath dedicated her life to the treatment and prevention of visual impairments. Her personal belief that everyone has the right to sight led to her invention in 1985 of a specialized tool and procedure for the removal of cataracts. With the laser phaco probe and procedure, Dr. Bath increased the accuracy and results of cataract surgery, which had previously been performed manually with a mechanical grinder. With the laser
So when we see these LASIK commercials, we can thank this sister for the invention.
phaco probe invention and the development of the procedure for its use, Dr. Bath helped restore the sight of several people who had been blinded by cataracts for up to 30 years. Number 89, automatic gear shift. Richard Spikes was a well-known inventor whose automatic transmission for the car gears and other automotive-related inventions transformed the transportation industry. Spikes invented the gear shift to help keep the gears constant for different speeds, which also helps people to drive up hills. In December 1932, Spikes received a patent for an automatic gear shift device based on automatic transmission for automobiles and other motor vehicles. Number 88, dustpan. The first dustpan was invented in 1858 by American inventor T. McNeil, for which he was granted a United States patent. However, it was Lloyd P. Ray's improvement that gave us the dustpan we all recognize today. The African-American inventor made improvements to the dustpan by the addition of a short wooden handle and a collection plate made of metal, and this invention was patented in 1897. The addition of a metal plate and a short wooden handle allowed sweepers to collect trash without getting their hands dirty. Due to the convenience it provided, Ray's invention quickly became a household staple. Number 87, gold tee golf was totally a different sport before Dr. George Grant came along. Prior to the invention of the wooden tee at the turn of the 19th century, golfers made tees out of sand. Courses would supply each hole with a box of wet sand from which the golfer would fashion a raised mound using either his hands or a cone-shaped mold. In 1899, Boston dentist Dr. George Grant, frustrated with this tedious and messy process, invented a wooden golf tee. However, it wasn't until William Lowell, another dentist, invented the ready tee in the early 1920s that using a wooden tee became common practice. Number 86, lawn sprinkler. African-American inventor Joseph H. Smith improved upon the lawn sprinkler by patenting the first rotary head lawn sprinkler in 1897 that sprayed water in two directions. In 1898, he was granted a second patent for modifications and improvements to his original design. His invention eliminated the need to drag a hose over the lawn and reposition it periodically to ensure a relatively even watering of the lawn. Number 85, modern toilet. Thanks to Thomas Elkins, your bathroom breaks are as comfortable as ever. While Elkins didn't outright invent the modern toilet, his improvements to the chamber commode would inspire.
Big fact, JJ, the enlightened one, we invented everything. But the inventions and the patents were plagiarized or stolen.
The mechanics of the modern toilet. His patented design came with several amenities, including a bureau, mirror, book rack, washstand, table, easy chair, an earth closet or chamber stool. Over the years, the toilet would go through several modifications to become the porcelain throne it is.
Peace to Sammy. Thanks for coming through.
Today. Number 84, ringing mop. In 1893, Thomas W. Stewart would devise an invention that would make cleaning less of a back-breaking labor. The ringing mop we know today was inspired by his invention, which provided a way to care for the slate, stone, or marble floors that were a feature of the homes of the aristocracy, and later the middle classes. Thanks to his invention of a clamping device that could wring water out of the mop by using a lever, floor cleaning was not nearly the chore it once was. Number 83, reversible stroller. Modern-day reversible strollers and baby carriages are the work of African-American inventor W. H. Richardson. Although the first baby carriage was invented in 1733 by William Kent for the Duke of Devonshire, its lavish design made it harder for everyday individuals to have access to them. However, Richardson patented a new type of baby carriage on June 18, 1889, that was more efficient and affordable. The design featured wheels that could turn 360 degrees in a smaller turning radius. The bassinet was also designed so it could face out or in towards the parent. Over a century later, his invention is still a popular choice among parents. Number 82, biscuit cutter. By 1863, A.P. Ashbourne worked as a caterer, having amassed a respected following in Pennsylvania. He catered weddings and buffets of the wealthy elite in Philadelphia, and was selected as one of a handful of local caterers for the 1863 Emancipation celebration held in the city. While attending this event, Ashbourne noticed that the biscuits were simply hand-patted and lacked any real form. He began a decade-long process to create a device, a spring-loaded biscuit cutter, that would guarantee a uniform shape and size. His patented cutter had a board to load and unload biscuits easily. At the time, his invention brought convenience and accuracy to the flour-based food product.
That's what they do, my brother JJ. They'll shun you. You come to them with the ideal, they'll shun you, and next thing you know, it's on the shelf flying off, and they're making all the money.
Number 81, airplane propelling. While the Wright brothers designed and constructed the world's first practical fixed-pitch propeller, it was black inventors, among many others, that would improve the mechanics to be what it is today. In 1920, African-American inventor James Sloan Adams was granted a patent for a new and improved propelling means for airplanes, which utilized the stored-up energy of a spring to the fullest advantage for driving the airplane forward. This rounds up the part 1 of our series on the 100 black inventions that changed the world. From lawn sprinklers, home security systems, to traffic light signals, black individuals have continuously defied the odds and left an indelible mark on our world. It is time to celebrate their triumphs and acknowledge their countless inventions that have revolutionized our society. In the next part of this series, we will share even more audacious inventions, scientific breakthroughs, technological marvels, and groundbreaking discoveries done by black inventors. As always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel.
Now we're going to go to the racism against black.
The contributions to American society by people of African descent is not often spoken about, but on the occasion when it is acknowledged, it's often done in the context of culture. Black inventors, especially black men, have had a very odd plight when they decide to enter into the realm of human advancement through technology. While their inventions may bring considerable wealth, they sometimes become socially and economically ostracized. And so today, I wanted to speak a little about this history. What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you full courses and sources, or you simply want clicking the Patreon link. And I wanted to focus this video on the great American inventor, Granville Woods. The insight by Michael C. Christopher from the University of Texas at Austin will be the foundation of the information presented. We all know the intelligence of African people and their descendants have been ridiculed and demonized, to say the least. The very idea of black people in America contributing to the field of science was largely viewed as a joke. This adulterated perspective was strong in the 1800s, especially when black inventors began contributing to American civilization. Just to give you guys an idea, a popular candidate for Congress in the 19th century once said in reference to black people that no one of the race had ever reached the dignity of an inventor. Recognition of black inventors was virtually non-existent, especially during enslavement.
But a black man designed all of Washington, D.C. and wrote the first world's almanac. That's how smart we are.
Enslaved individuals were not allowed to receive patents or assign them to others. They were not allowed to enter into contracts with the government because they were not considered citizens, let alone human. Because of this, many black inventors during slavery and after were ignored and their inventions credited to others. This American legacy of disparaging and disrespecting the agency of black inventors unfortunately led some to even deny their blackness in fear that their invention would decline in commercial value. Henry Baker was vocal about the general public's ignorance concerning black inventors. He was an African-American man who was a second assistant examiner at the patent office in the 1800s. He claimed that the white people in charge would keep black inventors hidden by identifying them as having white or non-black ancestors. Fortunately for us, Granville Woods fell through the cracks. He was so exceptional that it was hard to ignore. Granville put to use his knowledge of electronics, chemistry, and physics to design several of the era's great inventions. The attention he drew, of course, was not without controversy, however. Due to the extensive racism and denial of black intellect, the Cosmopolitan magazine reported that Wood's maternal grandfather was a Malay Indian and that his other grandparents were Australian Aborigines, anything to deny his Africanness.
All lies. There was a brother, a straight up brother. They want to give him other lineages to discredit him and his inventions.
On June 3rd, 1884, Granville was granted his first patent for a steam boiler furnace. Woods created devices that involved the conversion of electricity into useful and economic functions. He created an incubator that was described as the forerunner of present machines, capable of hatching 50,000 eggs at a time. He also patented many transmission devices from telephones to telegraphs. Granville contributed to the area of circuit designs and the generation of electricity. His knowledge of chemistry allowed him to invent the galvanic battery, a battery that produced electricity through chemical reactions. During his lifetime, he patented about 50 inventions and devices, many of them related to electric railways, which gave him the most recognition and praise. He no doubt revolutionized the railroad and electric railway industries with his fantastic work. His development of the so-called third rail used in electric railways increased the safety of the nation's entire system. His most contested invention at the time came to be known as the induction telegraph system. The device was designed for the purpose of averting accidents by keeping each train informed of the whereabouts of the one immediately ahead or following it, and communicating with its.
Well, based on all the derailments across the United States and the world, they must have stopped using our brother's invention.
Stations from moving trains, and in promoting general social and commercial intercourse. Before Granville's invention, trains apparently had little to no assistance in locating the whereabouts of other trains, so accidents would happen frequently. This invention certainly got attention, and once he made his move to market the product through his company, he was challenged in 2 court cases by Thomas Edison, who claimed rights to the induction telegraph. In both court,
Behold, the face of a devil, a thief, a plagiarist who stole many inventions from our people. Whether it's a brother or sister, this devil stole inventions and patents from them.
court cases, Granville beat Thomas Edison and was recognized by the U.S. Patent Office as the inventor. This event can be seen as a blessing and a curse, because although he received high praise and generated wealth, he was not able to compete economically in the long run. The duality of 19th century racism and legitimate corporate competition, funded by centuries of slave money, rendered Granville and other black inventors unable to keep up, and so he found it better to sell his inventions to larger white-owned corporations. White society, possessing the ability to control the inventions created by black men, also possessed the power to control the potential of the inventors themselves. Woods and other black inventors were allowed to contribute to society as inventors, but not as businessmen. By minimizing the black inventors' participation in the American corporate system, white society was able to control the growth of the black companies concerned with technology.
They do that to this very day. Again, they do it with our genre of music. They did it with hip hop. They do it with our intellectual property. They do it with our music and our catalogs.
Despite being a victim of his time, Granville Woods is an excellent testament to black intellect, and his name deserves to be remembered amongst our children. I'd like to think we can learn from the story of Granville, even though, as mentioned before, his time did not allow him to shine in the way he should have. I also think we have less roadblocks on our journey to ownership today. Just something to keep in mind. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link.
Now we're going to go to 10 inventions that were
10 famous inventions stolen from other people. 10. The telephone. Alexander Graham Bell is largely credited for inventing the telephone after he secured the patent in 1876. But in 2002, the US Congress declared that the real inventor was actually the poor Italian inventor Antonio Meucci. 16 years before Bell's patent,
They need to go back and get the real truth, because that Italian did not invent the phone. Go back and get the real truth.
Meucci had successfully demonstrated his teletrafono for the Italian-American press in New York. Meucci sent his invention to the Western Union Telegraph Company in 1872 in an attempt to bring his telephone to market. But when no action was taken and he asked for his prototype back 2 years later, Western Union claimed to have lost it. Bell, who had shared a laboratory with Meucci, filed a patent for a telephone and made a lucrative deal with Western Union. Meucci sued Bell for fraud and appeared to be winning the case, but then he died, bringing an end to court proceedings. 9. Radio. Guglielmo Marconi won the Nobel Prize for his pioneering work on long-distance radio transmissions. However, he did so by infringing on numerous patents held by inventor Nikola Tesla. In England, Marconi used Tesla's technology to demonstrate long-distance radio transmissions.
Nikola Tesla stole the patent for the electric car known as the Tesla today.
Over the following 3 years, Marconi applied for radio patents in America, but was repeatedly rejected as they were too similar to more than 17 that were already held by Tesla. However, as Marconi continued to improve his demonstrations, he received financial backing from powerful investors in the United States. And in 1904, the US Patent Office reversed their previous decision and gave Marconi a patent for the invention of radio. It was not until 1943, a few months after Tesla's death, that the Supreme Court ruled to uphold Tesla's radio patent. 8. Lasers. Gordon Gould is widely credited for the invention of the laser, but it took a 30-year patent war for him to secure this title. As a graduate student at Columbia University, Gould discussed his idea of how to build a laser with...
I'm going to move on from those lies. They're giving the patent from one white person to another when it was...
Black Inventors of the 20th and 21st Century, narrated by Diane Austin. African Americans have played a pivotal role in creating inventions that have had a major impact on our everyday lives. From agriculture to medicine, from science to technology, African American men and women have left their mark in American and world history. Let's take a look at some of the Black inventors, both past and present, who have left an indelible mark on the world in which we live.
This song we're hearing, it's a song off Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. The song is called Black Man.
In the Stevie Wonder song Black Man, the Motown Marvel sings of Benjamin Banneker. First clock to be made in America was created by a black man. Though the song is a fitting salute to a great inventor and African Americans in general, it only touches on the genius of Benjamin Banneker and the many hats he wore as a farmer, mathematician, astronomer, author, and land surveyor. But it was his clock invention that really propelled the reputation of Benjamin Banneker. Sometime in the early 1750s, Benjamin borrowed a pocket watch from a wealthy acquaintance, took the watch apart, and studied its components. After returning the watch, he created a fully functioning clock entirely out of carved wooden pieces, all at the young age of 21. The clock was amazingly precise and would keep on ticking for decades. As a result of the attention his self-made clock received, Banneker was able to start up his own watch and clock repair business. Every time a person crunches into a potato chip, he or she is enjoying the delicious taste of one of the world's most famous snacks, a treat that might not exist without the contribution of Black inventor George Crumb. Crumb, the son of an African American father and a Native American mother, was working as a chef in the summer of 1853 when he accidentally invented the chip. It all began when a patron who ordered a plate of French fried potatoes sent them back to Crumb's kitchen because he felt they were too thick and soft. To teach the picky patron a lesson, Crumb sliced a new batch of potatoes as thin as he possibly could and then fried them until they were hard and crunchy. Finally, to top them off, he added a generous heaping of salt. But to Crumb's surprise, the dish ended up being a hit with the patron and a new snack was born. Years later, Crumb opened his own restaurant that had a basket of potato chips on every table. Though Crumb never attempted to patent his invention, the snack was eventually mass-produced and sold in bags, providing thousands of jobs nationwide. Generally, when people think of famous African American inventors, one of the first names that
Just know that a black man invented the chocolate chip cookie also. Just know that.
comes to mind is George Washington Carver. Perhaps most famously, Carver discovered over 300 different uses for peanuts, including making cooking oil, axle grease, and printer's ink. Despite the positive impact George Washington Carver's inventions had on the South, the inventor never sought out glory. Instead, he continued to invent, discover, and teach in order to make the world a better place. Inscribed on his tombstone is the epitaph, "He could have added fortune to fame, but caring for neither, he found happiness and honor in being helpful to the world." Many of the world's famous inventors only produced one major invention that garnered recognition and cemented their prominent status. But Garrett Augustus Morgan, one of the country's most successful African American inventors, actually created two major inventions: the gas
Salute to my
mask
brother
and the
Brown, Black
traffic
Power
signal.
God.
He received a patent for
Salute,
the
brother.
first gas mask invention in 1914, but it wasn't until 2 years later that the idea really took off. When a group of workers got stuck in a tunnel below Lake Erie after an explosion, Morgan and a team of men donned the mask to help get them out. After the rescue was a success, requests for the mask began pouring in. Garrett Morgan's other famous invention, the traffic signal, was also invented to help save lives. After witnessing an accident on a roadway, Morgan decided a device was needed to keep cars, buggies, and pedestrians from colliding. His traffic signal was designed to stand on a street corner and notify vehicles and walkers whether they should stop or go. After receiving a patent in 1923, the rights to the invention were eventually purchased by General Electric. Now, there is one invention that he's less famous for. Morgan created the first chemical hair straightening cream, better known today as hair relaxers. Anytime you see a truck on the highway transporting refrigerated or frozen food, you're seeing the work of Frederick McKinley Jones. One of the most prolific Black inventors ever, Jones patented more than 60 inventions in his lifetime. While more than 40 of the patents were in the field of refrigeration, Jones is most famous for inventing an automatic refrigeration system for long-haul trucks and railroad cars. In addition to the refrigerator invention, Jones also invented an air conditioning unit for military field hospitals and a refrigerator for military field kitchens. But his
I'm very thankful for these inventions because it was hot as hell today.
inventions don't end there. Jones actually invented a self-starting gas engine. He also invented a series of devices for movie projectors and for box office equipment that gave tickets and made change for movie patrons. Jones was posthumously awarded the National Medal of Technology in 1991, the first Black inventor to ever receive such an honor. It's literally impossible to determine how many hundreds of thousands of people would have lost their lives without the contributions of African American inventor Dr. Charles Drew. This physician, researcher, and surgeon revolutionized the understanding of blood plasma, leading to the invention of blood banks. There are few inventors who've had the lasting impact of Otis Boykin. Look around your house today and you'll see a variety of devices that utilize components made by Boykin, including computers, radios, and TV sets. Boykin's inventions are all the more impressive when one considers he was an African American in a time of segregation, and the field of electronics was not as well established as it is today. Though he
But we got all these names: Samsung, LG, all these names on TVs, and we don't have his name on the television. They steal these inventions, they steal the patent, and put their names on them.
He attended the Illinois Institute of Technology for a time, Boykin never made it to graduation because he couldn't afford the tuition. Instead, Boykin went to work as an inventor. He received his first patent in 1959 for a wire resistor that allowed a precise amount of electricity to flow to a component. Because he was able to create a low-cost product that was more reliable, his wire resistor invention brought Boykin to the forefront of American electronics. Consumer electronics manufacturers, the United States military, and IBM all placed orders for the resistor. It would come to be used in household appliances, computers, and guided missiles, and is still used in many of those devices to this very day. But perhaps most importantly, a version of his resistor was used in the invention of the pacemaker. That device, which keeps the heart beating regularly through electronic pulses, has helped to extend the lives of hundreds of thousands of individuals. While home security systems today are more advanced than ever, back in 1966, the idea of a home surveillance device seemed almost unthinkable. That was the year famous African American inventor Marie Van Brittan Brown and her partner, Albert Brown, applied for an invention patent for a closed-circuit television security system. A female Black inventor that was far ahead of her time, Marie created an invention that was first in a long string of home security inventions that
Again, I thank her very much for this invention because I can just look up and see all around my house, even get notification if somebody's on my property.
continue to flood the market today. 90% of the microphones used today are based on the ingenuity of James Edward West, an African American inventor born in 1931 in Prince Edward County, Virginia. If you've ever talked on the telephone, you've probably used this invention. Dr. West and a colleague,
Invention right now.
Gerhard Sessler, developed the mic, officially known as the electroacoustic transducer electric microphone. That's a mouthful. They received a patent for it in 1962. The device is used in most telephones, tape recorders, and other important devices. Another living legend, Kenneth J. Dunkley, is currently the president of the Holospace Laboratories Incorporated in Pennsylvania. He is best known for inventing three-dimensional viewing glasses, also known as 3D. His patented invention displays 3D effects from regular 2D photos without any type of lenses, mirrors, or optical elements. By studying human vision, Dunkley discovered that blocking 2 points in a person's peripheral vision will cause an ordinary picture to appear three-dimensional. Inventor George Edward Alcorn has an impressive resume. Among his credits, the African-American inventor received a bachelor's in physics, a master's degree in nuclear physics, and a PhD in atomic and molecular physics. Despite such impressive credentials, Alcorn is probably most famous for his innovation of the imaging X-ray spectrometer, a device that helps scientists better understand what materials are composed of when they cannot be broken down. Born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana, the young Betty Harris was interested in chemistry. At college, she obtained a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Southern University and an MS degree in chemistry from Atlanta University. As a research chemist, Betty Harris worked in the areas of hazardous waste treatment and environmental restoration facilities contaminated with energetic materials such as propellants and gun propellants and explosives. She eventually became a noted expert in the chemistry of explosives. Through her research, Harris obtained a patent for her invention for a spot test for identifying explosives in a field environment. Imagine with me for a moment. Imagine living in a world ranging from hazy, clouded vision to that of total darkness for 30 years. Before 1985, that was the plight of those with cataracts who did not want to risk surgery with a mechanical grinder, popular in the day. Now imagine sitting in a doctor's office without being able to see her as she explains to you that it may be possible to restore your vision. Dr. Patricia Bath has dedicated her life to the treatment and prevention of visual impairments. Her personal belief is that everyone has the right to sight, and that led to her invention in 1985 of a specialized tool and procedure for the removal of cataracts called the laser Fatco probe. The laser Fatco probe has increased the
It is called LASIK now. The company is called LASIK now, but this sister pioneered that and invented that.
accuracy and results of cataract surgery, which had previously been performed manually with a mechanical grinder. The difference between the old method and the new invention was the difference between the use of highly accurate laser technology versus the somewhat subjective accuracy of a mechanical device. Did you ever think of what it might be like if your television could project an on-screen image directly into your living room as a three-dimensional image? Maybe not, but if it happens, you may have Valerie Thomas to thank for it. From 1964 to 1995, Thomas worked in a variety of capacities for NASA, where she developed real-time computer data systems, conducted large-scale experiments, and managed various operations, projects, and facilities. While managing a project for NASA's image processing systems, Thomas's team spearheaded the development of Landsat, the first satellite to send images from space. Always with an eye to the future, Thomas began experimenting on an illusion transmitter in 1977, and it was patented in 1980. This brilliant innovation placed Thomas among the most prominent Black inventors of the 20th century. NASA continues to use her technology and is exploring ways to use it in surgical tools and possibly television and video. Dr. Shirley Jackson, a theoretical physicist, has been credited with making many advances in science. Dr. Jackson attended MIT, where she received a bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree, all in the field of physics. Jackson started to conduct successful experiments in theoretical physics and then started to use her knowledge in physics to start making advances in telecommunications while working at Bell Laboratories. These inventions include developments in the portable fax, touch-tone telephone, solar cell, and the fiber optic cables used to provide clarity in overseas telephone calls. She has also helped make possible caller ID and call waiting. An anonymous source said of the Super Soaker, "I got fired from a job once because of my Super Soaker. I guess that's what happens when you accidentally drench a customer when you're trying to get a coworker who ducks." Famous Black inventor and scientist Lonnie G. Johnson probably didn't have that little scenario in mind when he invented the Super Soaker squirt gun, but it is one of the countless memories that can be recalled by those who were young enough to enjoy the Super Soaker after its release in 1989. Johnson's resume boasts work with the U.S. Air Force and NASA, including work on the Galileo, Jupiter probe, and Mars Observer project, a nomination for astronaut training, and more than 40 patents, but it's the squirt gun that he's best known for. As a child, Mark Dean excelled in math. In elementary school, he took advanced level math courses, and in high school, Dean even built his own computer, radio, and amplifier. Dean continued his interests and went on to obtain a bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD, all in electrical engineering. Dr. Dean started working at IBM in 1980 and was instrumental in the invention of the personal computer and the computer monitor. He holds 3 of IBM's original 9 PC patents and currently holds more than 20 total patents. This famous African American inventor never thought the work that he was doing would end up being so useful to the world, but he has helped IBM make instrumental changes in areas ranging from the
We definitely thank him because we use these devices on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, I'm using it now.
Research and application of systems technology to operating environments. One of his most recent computer inventions occurred while leading the team that produced the 1 gigahertz chip. Even in high school, John Henry Thompson was interested in computer programming languages, and he taught himself several programming languages with the goal of absorbing as much knowledge as possible so he could develop his own computer language. He developed a number of products, many of them based on his most famous invention, Lingo programming, a scripting language that helps render visuals in computer programs. Lingo is used in the programs Macromedia and Shock.
You notice that it says, he invented it, for Macintosh. He should have put his name on it. Put your names on your inventions.
Wave, and with many programs that have interactive simulations with graphics, animation, sound, and video. You've benefited from Thompson's Lingo programming language if you've ever played video games, learned web design, used animation and graphics. These incredible inventors represent a small snapshot of the amazing men and women who have impacted our lives through their intelligence and ingenuity. To learn more about these and other Black inventors, get the book Black Inventors by Keith C. Holmes.
Again, a lot of our essential products and devices that we use on a daily basis were invented by a brother or a sister. It's a lot that I didn't go into as far as the inventors and inventions. I'm going to do a part 2 of this string, Black inventors and patents that were stolen. And I hope that this information was informative and enlightening. And those of us who want to produce and invent something beneficial and innovative for our people to make our lives better, I hope it was encouraging. Until next time, this is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.